Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to another video, and today we'll be doing a mock draft of the 2021 NFL Draft. If you do enjoy this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to be updated when I upload next. I upload videos almost every other day. I'm trying my best, but I've been really slacking recently. I'm going to try and do better for you guys. Let's get into this video. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing the entirety of the first round. Now, there are some teams that don't have a first round pick this year, but if you guys want me to do a full 2-round mock draft or a 3-round, whatever to get everyone's, what I think they should draft first, then you can go ahead and tell me. But I'm gonna do the first round today. Here are my settings I usually use whenever I do a mock draft. But let's get into the video. Let's see who we really think each team should grab and what the best fit is for each team. So without further ado, obviously Trevor Lawrence is going go number 1. There's no chance Trevor Lawrence slides past number 1. He's going to the Jaguars. That's already guaranteed. The Jets. There's a lot of rumors right now about Zach Wilson. Are they going to keep Sam Darnold for one more year and build around him? I'm going to get Zach Wilson. I think he's the easiest pick for the Jets. Him, Justin Fields, and Trey Lance. A lot of people are trying to figure out who's that number 2 quarterback. I think it's Zach Wilson. I know he's only had 17 starts in college, but I think he has the skill set to be the number 2 quarterback, and especially bring that Jets franchise to another level. Now, with number 3, the 49ers, I think no matter what, they're happy. They either get Zach Wilson or they get Justin Fields. Obviously, in this mock draft, they get Justin Fields. But if the Jets like Justin Fields more, they get Zach Wilson. I think that Justin Fields and Zach Wilson probably have around the same grade from the 49ers. So no matter what, they're going to be happy. But in this case, it's Justin Fields. Justin Fields is really good with that play action, playing off the run, passing game. That's what the 49ers like to run with the Kyle Shanahan scheme, which is very, running oriented. So moving on with number 4. Now, there was a report that came out today that Kyle Pitts has already had 2 interviews with the Falcons. They were at his pro day, and he has a whole nother interview set up with the Falcons as well. So I want them to go quarterback. I want them to go Trey Lance here. But for the hell of it, I'm gonna go Kyle Pitts. I think it's gonna be really interesting. I'd love Kyle Pitts in the system. Him, Julio Jones, and Calvin Ridley with Matt Ryan. Yes, that defense is lackluster still, but I think if you have a good enough offense, the defense, as long as it's competent and doesn't give up big plays every single play, I think you can still make a playoff push. I mean, the Browns this last year made a playoff push with a middle of the pack defense with a really good offense. If that's what they want to do, I'd love Kyle Pitts, especially with that Arthur Smith offense that he runs. So Kyle Pitts, the Falcons, I'm not a fan of it, but that's what is being reported, so I'm just gonna go with it. Number 5, I'm still gonna go Jamar Chase. I think Jamar Chase is gonna go number 5 to the Bengals. If he doesn't, obviously the Dolphins will happily pick him up. But the fact that Joe Burrow has been making an active push to get Jamar Chase on his team, as reported by Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, the Bengals Hotwire, one of the websites that is a really big Bengals reporter. They're saying that Jamar Chase is being heavily recruited by Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow is telling the front office to draft him. So I'm all for it. I don't know if it's the smartest option. Like, is that what they should be doing? Should they not be protecting him? But I'm just gonna let it happen. I think him and Joe Burrow in the Cincinnati Bengals offense, with Tyler Boyd, with those weapons they have, T. Higgins, with Joe Mixon. If you gotta wait another year to build an offensive line around that receiving core and it's that offensive weapon core, I'm all for it. The Dolphins, I think no matter what, they're happy. They grabbed Devonta Smith at number 6. Honestly, just won the Heisman. My number 2 wide receiver. He's great with Tua Tagovailoa, giving Tua an active chance to prove himself in 2021. And immediately right after that, I have Jalen Waddle going to the Lions. The Lions have no receivers. They need to get receivers for Jared Goff. They got TJ Hawkinson, but besides that, they have no really good receiving threat. I think Jalen Waddle is perfect for that system, that where they need a number 1 receiver, and I think that's what Jalen Waddle can be. At number 8, I formerly did have Kyle Pitts going to the Panthers, but I think obviously the Panthers need a quarterback. They've been in rumors of trading for Deshaun Watson. But if Trey Lance slides all the way to number 8, I think they'd be happy. That's a quarterback of the future. Now they have Teddy Bridgewater and Trey Lance. If you want Teddy to start for one more year while you let Trey Lance sit, go ahead. But I think the Panthers would be very happy with this pick. This is the first trade of, just the first round I have. If it will let me go to it. I have, where are they? I have the Philadelphia Eagles trading up from pick 12 all the way to pick 9. They give up their first round pick, their third round pick, and a future fourth round pick to move up 3 spots. Jumping over. Oh, it's not accepted. What? It was accepted last round. It was accepted last time. I might have to give up more, but I'm gonna force this trade because I don't think they need to give up more for a third round for moving up 3 spots. I can't show a screenshot right now of earlier it did work. I don't know why it's not working now. But the Eagles slide up 3 spots to grab their outside corner, Patrick Surtain the second. Twice in the last 5 years, the Cowboys have picked what was projected to be the Eagles pick. That was both Dallas Goedert and CeeDee Lamb. They can't let it happen 3 times in 5 years. They move up 3 spots, grab that outside corner next to Darius Slay that they desperately need in that secondary, especially after this offseason where almost all of the secondary members have left in free agency. This is the move that they need to do. Don't let the Cowboys do to you what they've been doing. Do it to the Cowboys this time. Grab that number 1 corner the Cowboys are hoping for. And because of that, the Cowboys then happily grab, where is he? My second corner, Caleb Farley. Caleb Farley is a really good outside corner. He's been sliding recently in drafts, not rising. J.C. Horn has been rising while Caleb Farley's been sliding. But I have, no matter what, if it's Patrick Surtain that goes before him, Caleb Farley would go right after him. I think it'll be, there's no chance that it's not 1 corner and then Caleb Farley. I like J.C. Horn, but I think 10 is a little too high for him. I think he's better in this range, 11 to 18. I think that's the better range for him. But with that said, we can now move to the Giants, and with the Giants, I have them drafting. Let me go to it real quick. The Giants are then going to draft Rashawn Slater. Rashawn Slater in college actually played left tackle and right tackle, if we can go to his stats. We can see right now if they're not going to load. But in college, he split his time at left tackle and right tackle, I believe all 3 years. And, if you want, the next season, you can move off of Nate Solder at right tackle and move Rashawn Slater to right tackle. Or you can move Andrew Thomas back from left tackle to right tackle, which I think would be more suitably fit. But it's not going to load for me, apparently. But he did split his time in college at Northwestern at left tackle and right tackle. You can move him to either side. That gives you options for next season or this season even. If you want to move Andrew Thomas to right tackle and put Rashawn Slater at left tackle, or put Slater at right tackle and just put Nate Solder as a backup, it gives you a lot more options. I think it bolsters your offensive line as well, just in general, to actually protect Daniel Jones, who was sacked 43 times last season, which was an insane amount, obviously. I think that solves his fumbling problem. I think it solves a lot of issues that you have with that offense. The Broncos, luckily, they can grab Micah Parsons. Now, if Garrett Bowles wasn't playing how good he did last season and earned a payday and a contract extension, I would have loved Penei Sewell to them. But Micah Parsons finishes that linebacker core with Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, and obviously Micah Parsons. Bradley Chubb and Von Miller are better pass rushers, where Micah Parsons could be more of a coverage linebacker. But I love this pick for the Broncos. Don't got to move up. They actually move back 3 spots and get a linebacker. I would have gotten them J.C. Horn, but they fixed their corner problem really well this offseason. They obviously got Ronald Darby, I believe. I believe it was Ronald Darby they got in free agency, and they got Kyle Fuller from the Bears. I love what they did this offseason. Next on, we have Justin Herbert, Penei Sewell. Just pair him up immediately. Grab, in my book, the number 1 tackle in the class. The only reason he didn't go to the Giants is because Penei Sewell is only a left tackle. I would not move him to the right tackle. If they want to keep Andrew Thomas at left tackle, obviously you'd have two really quality left tackles, drafted 2 years separate from each other. So I didn't want to do that. I'd much rather have versatility where you can move Andrew Thomas to right tackle or just keep Slater at right tackle. Penei Sewell finishes off this offensive line. That's, the Chargers have really done this offseason. They signed, I believe it was Matt Filer to be their left tackle next year. But obviously, if you just want to put him at guard or as a backup, as a swing tackle, that fits him better at this point in his career. But Penei Sewell, protect Justin Herbert for the rest of his career. I'd love this move. Moving on, got Christian Darrisaw. Where is he? Going to the Vikings. I think this also finishes off the Vikings' offensive line. They could still use a right guard. They got Ben Cleveland at left guard. Got that center they drafted recently. They got the left tackle now, obviously Christian Darrisaw. That right side of the line is still a little bit of a question mark, but it can hold up solid for another year, or they can fix it in the second round in free agency. But I love what the Vikings have done so far. Garrett Bradbury was the center they drafted. I think they're really building a competent line here through the draft, which I love. I think Christian Darrisaw can finish off the left side of that offensive line. Now the Patriots somehow, I believe, will trade back with, where are they? The Chicago Bears. I think the Bears will trade up, giving them 83 and a future fourth. Again, I just think that's probably, the best offer they can give. Go to draft a player. They grab J.C. Horn at 15. Let Kyle Fuller go. He was aging. He was a lot of money. Now they immediately replace him with a starting outside corner in J.C. Horn, who's cheaper, more athletic, and I think can have a higher ceiling than Kyle Fuller, who obviously was an all-pro bowler. But I think J.C. Horn can easily, hit that mold, and especially in this defensive system with Jalen Johnson. I think this is a stud corner group that is all on rookie contracts. You got to win with your defense. Nothing against Andy Dalton, but I don't think he was the quarterback that they wanted. That offense is still struggling a little bit. That offensive line needs to be retooled. The weapons need to be replaced a little bit more. But I think J.C. Horn, really fixes where Kyle Fuller his hole was created. I think J.C. Horn fits that. Moving up 5 spots as well to be able to get him, I think it's good for them. For the Cardinals, I think their biggest need is defensive line, and more specifically interior defensive line. I think Christian Barmore immediately fills that spot. J.J. Watt, Chandler Jones, Christian Barmore. That line is starting to get, really, really solid. They had a lot of problems stopping the run last year, and I think this helps solve that problem. The Raiders, I have them grabbing Dylan Reduns. Where is he? Dylan Reduns. There he is. I think he can easily play right tackle as well. He did play a lot of left tackle in college, but I think he's one of the only left tackle prospects that can easily move the right tackle. I think he has the foundation. I think he has the skill to move the right tackle. And if needed, you could move him to left guard, but I'm going to try to just move him to the other side of the line. You got Colton Miller, who was the first, prospect drafted in 2018. They get a contract extension. I think him, Dylan Reduns, could be a really good tackle duo for the future to protect Derek Carr. The Dolphins, obviously earlier they grabbed a wide receiver. I think this is where they start to replace their defense a little bit more. Kwity Paye replaces Emmanuel Ogbah, who they traded. I think he's probably my best edge rusher, just base skill. I do like Jalen Phillips. I do like different edges throughout the class. But my number one is going to be Kwity Paye. I think he brings versatility. I think he brings, that athletic energy and just vibes, good vibes to that Dolphins system. I think Brian Flores is going to love him. Brian Flores is going to love this kind of prospect. Put him at any part of the defensive line, he can thrive, especially because he won't be the number one target. I think that defensive line as a whole will play better next year, meaning that he won't be the number one guy everyone's going to double team. There's a lot of people like his skill on that defensive line. Finish it off. It's going to be good. It's going to be a good defensive line next year. Now, Washington, they did sign Curtis Samuel. They do have Terry McLaurin. I think this wide receiver will finish off the receiving core that they've been building, and that is Rashad Bateman. He just ran, I believe, a 4.38 40 unofficial at his pro day. He's 6'2", 200 pounds, I believe. If I can click him and get his stats, I believe he's 6'2". 6'2", 210. He's a big body receiver, big and tall. Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel are, not tiny, but they're more around the 6 foot. He's 6'2", 210 pounds. He's a hefty guy, a very big catch radius. He's probably one of my more down to earth. I don't want to call him a steal because this is why he's not a top 10 prospect. But I think grabbing him at 19 is a good value pick for them. And for the Patriots, Mack Jones. Just gonna keep going. Mack Jones is the perfect prospect for the Patriots. He's the same kind of quarterback as Tom Brady, where he stays in the pocket and only runs when he needs to. He's not hella athletic, but he's athletic enough to do the job. He can sit behind Cam Newton for one season if the Jimmy G trade doesn't go down, by the way. If the Jimmy G trade does not go down, I think Mack Jones to the Patriots is the best thing I can really, mock. And for the Patriots, for the Colts, I'm actually going to grab Dyami Brown. Dyami Brown is a wide receiver from UNC. He's my number 3 wide receiver. After watching guys like Chris Sims and other, sports analysts that actually know what they're talking about and people that I trust Dyami Brown. He is a great route runner, has amazing hands, good speed, very intelligent. He doesn't, run dumb routes. He doesn't try and play hero ball. He does his job. And I think opposite of T.Y. Hilton, this is what you need. You got Paris Campbell and Michael Pittman to be that slot and the gadget receivers. Dyami Brown and T.Y. Hilton could be the outside receivers. Shift coverage away from T.Y. Hilton. He was being double and triple teamed sometimes last year. You got to get him more help, get Carson Wentz more help. I think De'Ami Brown would be a perfect placement for T.Y. Hilton once he eventually retires. And for the Titans, I'm to grab Greg Newsome. I think Greg Newsome can play slot corner, outside corner. I'd probably keep him more in the slot though, but they completely cut their entire secondary. All their safeties, all their corners, it felt like they cut. I think Greg Newsome honestly replaces them. I don't think he's as good as Adoree Jackson. I think he's probably around the same skill as Adoree when he was coming in, but obviously he's cheaper. You're gonna have 5 years worth of play out of him before you have to pay him, and they have to pay a lot of people on this team. So Greg Newsome the second, going to the Titans just because he can play multiple positions in my eyes. With the Jets, I have them grabbing Where is he? Oweh. Am I blind? I'm blind. Jason Oweh. I think him next to Carl Lawson and the other Quinnen Williams, I believe his name is Quinnen Williams on the defensive line. I think that makes a scary defensive line for Robert Saleh. And as we know, Robert Saleh loves his defensive lines. With the 49ers, he had Nick Bosa, Solomon Thomas, that crazy D Ford. He had that crazy defensive line that he rode to the Super Bowl. That entire defense made them go to the Super Bowl, it felt like. And, on that defense that defensive line was a very big piece of it. And I think building that defensive line with the Jets is what they need to do. Get more pass rushers, build up that depth, get Robert Saleh his number one piece of his defense, and see where you can go. If this offense can start piecing itself together, I think they can probably make a very good run next year or within the next couple of years. But the fact that in the first round they can grab a future, they grab a quarterback for the franchise of the future and an edge rusher who can be very good next to Carl Lawson and has the potential of being, one of the better pass rushers in the league, I think that's perfect at 23. At 24, I have the Steelers grabbing Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. As a Browns fan, it hurts to see him go so close to the Browns where, the Browns need a linebacker. I don't know if they need a linebacker, but the fact that if Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah could have fallen to the Browns, that's what they would draft. It sucks. But I think with the Steelers, him next to TJ Watt would be insane. If I can grab his stats, I don't know why it's loading really weirdly. Okay, there we go. As you can see, he had 79 pass rushing snaps last year, meaning that he, 80 times would, obviously rush the passer. That is very good for only 12 games. He played 246 run defense snaps and 322 pass coverage. So he could fit the system really well where Bud Dupree was. He can pass, he can pass coverage, run defend, and, pass rush. So I think him with that system next to TJ Watt replacing Bud Dupree, you got to bolster this defense. Big Ben isn't going to be around much longer. There's not really a quarterback this far down into the draft that you would want to draft in the first round. Kellen Mond, I don't have as a first round talent. I would much rather bolster this defense as much as possible and get back to that 2019-2020 Steelers that really was hell-bent on their defense. I could have gone secondary here with Javon Moehrig, Paris Ford, Andre Sisco. And speaking of Andre Sisco, I have him going to the Jags. But let me finish my thought. I could have gone secondary with the Steelers because their entire secondary feels like it was cut or left, but I decided not to. And now, speaking of Andre Sisco, I have him going to the Jaguars at 25. Finishing off the secondary that they've been building over the last couple of years, CJ Henderson, Jakeem Griffin. They traded Ronnie Harrison to the Browns last year. Since he left, that secondary has really hurt, that safety position especially. They haven't signed any safety yet in free agency, and it's been 3 weeks since free agency opened. So I think Andre Sisco could be a great athletic freak in that secondary. He's a big hitter who can play free safety and strong safety, whether it's in the box, outside. He can play a little bit of slot corner, but this man is a hard hitter. Expect lots of forced fumbles, lots of fumble recoveries in his career. I'm excited to see what he can do, and especially on a lackluster Jaguars team, I think he can shine his rookie year. And for the Browns, I have them grabbing Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips next to Myles Garrett would be terrifying. If I was an offensive line, I would be terrified of who to block, because you would have Jalen Phillips, Myles Garrett, Malik Jackson, Sheldon Richardson, and coming off the bench would be Takk McKinley. No matter what, who you put next to Myles Garrett is going to put up good numbers. But Jalen Phillips, as we can go see, last year at Miami, he put up 500 total snaps, 284 pass rushing, so he's a pass rushing specialist, and run defending. So he had 9 sacks with 4 QB hits and 29 hurries. I think him next to Myles Garrett would be terrifying, as I already said. But more importantly, the rotation of him and Takk McKinley or him and Myles Garrett would be insane. You would not be able to double team both of them. And the fact that Malik Jackson and Sheldon Richardson would be coming in from the middle, this would completely remake this defensive line to a terrifying deal. You know, last year, all you had to do was double team Myles Garrett. No one else could really get pressure. But the fact that Jalen Phillips is coming off the other side as well with Takk McKinley, I think that actually opened up things for Myles Garrett and opened up things for a competent pass rusher to actually get past their one-on-ones. I think Jalen Phillips can do that. With the Ravens, I have them grabbing Tevin Jenkins. Now, I'm going to go into his stats just before I talk. Let's go to snaps by alignment. As you can see, he played both left and right tackle all throughout his college career. Now, why is this important to me? 1, Orlando Brown Jr. will be traded. Their current right tackle will be traded. He wants to play left tackle and he wants to be traded from the Ravens because, you know, he just wants the opportunity to play left tackle, and they extended Ronnie Stanley already. Meaning that they need a right tackle on top of someone who could play left tackle if Ronnie Stanley gets hurt yet again, because he was hurt last season. He has allowed no sacks the last 2 years. Obviously he goes to OSU, so it's not like, he goes to Oklahoma State, not the greatest school ever, but it's a good school. But, they face good competition, and the fact that he's allowed no sacks the last 2 years is really impressive to me. But Tevin Jenkins, I think moving him to right tackle, obviously staying at right tackle, but him next to Ronnie Stanley can help finish this offensive line. It's gone through a really big remodel. To me, their offensive line is the most important part of their offense, because if you're going to be the number 1 rushing team 2 years in a row, you got to have a good offensive line to protect the running back and open up lanes. So you really got to bolster this offensive line as much as you can through the draft and through free agency. They grabbed Kevin Zeitler, the right guard. He's fine. They still have Ronnie Stanley coming back from injury. They have Tyree Phillips, who played good last year, but their center left in free agency. It'll be really interesting to see what they do. But I think, getting a right tackle for Lamar Jackson in this running game is important. For the Saints, all throughout this draft process, I've only scouted one man to the Saints: Terrace Marshall Jr. Terrace Marshall Jr. is the perfect wide receiver next to Michael Thomas. He's a great route runner. He has speed. He's big. He's hefty. Again, a big catch radius. He's a big, strong athlete. He can catch the contested 50-50 ball. And for Taysom Hill / Jameis Winston, him and Michael Thomas would be a perfect 1-2 punch in the Saints offense. I did think about Rondale Moore, but Rondale Moore is slower, he's smaller, and I just don't think he'd be a good fit next to Michael Thomas. But Terrace Marshall is perfect next to Michael Thomas. Just the way they both play football at the receiver position complement each other so much. I want to see them play together so badly. With the Packers, I have them grabbing Zaven Collins. Let's go grab him. Preston Smith is a linebacker. He's a pass rusher. He's not really performed as well as I hoped that he would. In 2019, him and Zadarius Smith did play really well together, but Preston Smith had a little bit of a fall off year this last year. So I think they want to move off from him. They can save $8 million from the cap next season by cutting him with no dead money. I think Zaven Collins would be a really good replacement from Tulsa. Zaven Collins is an insane athletic freak, and at the linebacker position, that's what you need, especially with this defense they want to run. He's good at run defense. He's good at pass rushing, good at pass coverage. He's what they need. He's not my number 1 linebacker, but he's what they need. The Bills, easy. Azeez Ojulari. They need pass rush. They have good run defenders. They have good pass coverage. They don't have a good pass rush. The fact that Mario Edwards is one of the best pass rushers on their team last year says something. Nothing against Mario Edwards, but you can't have him as a number 1 option for pass rush. So Azeez Ojulari, gotta have him. Gotta get this pass rush fixed, and I think it's a really good scheme fit. For the Chiefs, any tackle, but from my opinion, it's Elijah Vera Tucker. And why? Because if we can go to his stats, as you can see, every single year he played a new position: right guard, left tackle. And I think that's exactly what the Chiefs need. They need a left tackle, but in case they want to move him all throughout the line, they can play him at either guard position or left tackle, and that's what the Chiefs need. With they obviously signed Joe Thuney, they signed Arson Blythe at center, but they still have question marks everywhere else. And the fact that they can get a guy who can play 3 positions in one player, you can move him anywhere and play really well. That's what they need. Versatility. That's what they need. And for the Buccaneers, I'm gonna grab Gregory Rousseau. Before I click it, I'm gonna talk about him. I think you need a Ndamukong Suh replacement eventually. Gregory Rousseau is a good pass rusher. I think that's what they need eventually when Ndamukong Suh does retire. And I'm gonna go throughout the draft grades. Just gonna slowly go through so you guys can see it all one more time. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, please have a like, comment, and subscribe. If you did like this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment down below, PFF. I guess just PFF. And I'll see you guys later. Peace. Bye. Oh, wait, before we go, I do have a link tree in my description with all my links where I post. Go follow my link tree. Click me on every single social media platform where I post. I'll see you guys later. Peace and bye.